What's up, people? Welcome back to Internash. We recently did a poll on our YouTube community page, Facebook group, and on our Instagram page asking international students how their experience has been in Australia as an international student. An overwhelming majority, more than 50% of the people said that they have been very disappointed. In this video, I want to discuss two things. First, I want to give you quick border updates, and in the second part of the video, I want to objectively look at why Australia has closed its borders, and if you are planning to consider Australia as your study destination in future, whether you should consider Australia or not. I want you guys to write your opinion in the comment section so that everybody can read your opinion and make their own mind, and it's just not me giving my opinion in this video. So if you are an international student in Australia or you're planning to come to Australia, this video is just for you. So check it out. Let's start with the good news first. Plans underway for international students, actors, major event workers to enter Victoria. The proposal would see the state accept 120 arrivals per week from May 24th, including overseas students and workers required for major events or stage or screen productions. The reason I think this is not a massive news is because Victorian government has presented this plan to the federal government, but still we are waiting for the response of federal government whether this plan will be implemented or not. Another thing to keep in mind is that 120 spots is not just for international students. It is for actors, event workers, and international students. So only a portion of this 120 people would be international students. The second good news is about online studies. Only 7% of international students willing to complete Australian courses online. This is what the survey shows, which is published in The Guardian. Now, this is really good news because this will send a message, hopefully, to the government that international students do not want to study online. And if they want international students to come to Australia, they will have to open its borders for international students. Otherwise, it is the third largest export of Australia, and that is going to die down. The third news is about New South Wales. New South Wales pilot programs aims to welcome international students back in the second half of this year. Again, this is still in its planning stage and we do not have a concrete plan. I know what you're thinking, that there have been a lot of news about this planning and there has nothing been executed, and I 100% feel you. We really want international students to come back. In fact, I want to go and visit my family back in India and then come here and work in Australia. But all of these things we just cannot do because of COVID-19 situation in so many countries is not very good. And the last news is for all the Australians who are stuck in India. If they plan to come back to Australia, possibly they will face a jail time. And we get it. The situation in India is so bad. I know so many of my friends who have gotten COVID-19 or recovered after getting COVID-19, and the situation keeps getting bad. In fact, Internash and other organizations are planning to raise funds in Australia and give it to the charity. So if you want to help the situation in India, stay updated and just follow us on our social media channels so that you can get to know where and how to help people who are suffering in India. Moving on to the second part of the video, where I want to objectively look at why do I think Australia has closed its borders for international students and whether Australia is still a good destination for international students to study abroad. But before we get into that, I want you guys to do two things. Number one, I want you guys to write in the comment section what is your opinion, whether you agree with me or disagree with me, but just give a reasoning, because that will help a lot of people who are reading the comments to understand what decision should they take. And another thing that I want you guys to do is hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, like this video and share this video with everybody possible so that they can take the right decision. Now, I think that there are two reasons why Australian government has not opened its borders for international students. You have to remember one thing, that Australia has done quite well with COVID-19. So people here are living life as if they are living in in 2019. Nobody is wearing a mask because it's not mandatory to wear a mask. There is no community transmission of COVID-19. Now, the first reason is that what we saw in United States in last 2 or 3 months, that hate crime against Asian students and Asians in general have increased drastically, and they are saying that this is happening because of COVID-19. Now imagine 1,000 students come to Australia every week. It is really hard to contain COVID-19 from community transmission. So even though all the measures are taken, it has happened in past that even though there was hotel quarantine, COVID-19 has spreaded in the community. Now, when a lot of international students or travelers or workers come to Australia, government is taking that risk. And when that happens, and if for some reason community transmission happened, then people's perspective, Australian people's perspective towards international students could change, and that may not be very healthy. I think that could be one of the reasons. I haven't read that in any news because people usually shy away from talking about racism and all those things, but I think that could be one reason. Another reason, I think that if community transmission happened, then a lot of local businesses, local people and job market would suffer. Job market has already suffered because of COVID-19. But if again Australia has to go in a lockdown, then a lot of local businesses could suffer. And I think that could be a reason why Australia is not opening its borders. But personally, I don't think that's good enough. At least they have to let us know what they are planning to do with the borders. Because right now, international students who are planning to come here or who are studying from abroad, they have no explanation. There is no reasoning on, there is no dates that they can follow. We just know that these pilot projects can be implemented, but a lot of them have not been implemented. And I think that is not right. The government owes us an explanation as to when the borders are opening up, or what is the timeline that they think international students will be able to come back to Australia. And moving on to the last part of the video, if you should consider Australia as your study destination. Now, what I think is that if borders are open up, if international students know that they can come to Australia and travel back to their countries, if vaccine passport is implemented, basically, if we know that we can come to Australia, I think Australia is pretty good destination to study abroad. And you just have to look at the numbers. So the number of big companies that are in, let's say, Melbourne or Sydney, or the number of cities that are growing like Perth, Adelaide, Wollongong, Geelong, which is near Melbourne, all of these cities are doing quite well. So what you have to research is that whatever you want to study, what is the scope of that industry in Australia in next 5 or 10 years? If you think that is good, then I don't think Australia is a bad destination to study. But again, I want you guys to write in the comment section, what do you think? And not just yes or no. I want to know the reason. Why do you think whether you should consider Australia or not? Hope you loved the video, guys. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. If you have not liked the video, like the video and share this video with everybody you know. See you in the next video.